Classic Funds Committee. The time is now 10:01 on August 20th, 2025, and I'd like to call this Mayor's Golf Classic Funds Committee meeting to order. First, I will do the land acknowledgement. The town of Aurora acknowledges that the Anishinaabe lands on which we live and work are the traditional and treaty territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island, as well as many other nations whose presence here continues to this day. As the closest First Nation community to Aurora, we recognize the special relationships the Chippewas have with the lands and waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and environmental stewards of these lands, and as a municipality, we join them in these responsibilities. We further acknowledge that Aurora is part of the treaty lands of the Mississaugas and Chippewas, recognized through Treaty Number 13, as well as Williams Treaty of 1923. A shared understanding of how the rich cultural heritage that has existed for centuries and how our collective past brought us to where we are today will help us walk together into a better future. May I approve of the agenda? So may I please have a motion to approve the agenda as circulated by the Legislative Services? You should have that in your package. Moved by Rob, seconded by Manuel. Thank you. Any questions or comments on the agenda? I'll then call to a vote. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Manuel, we have an opposing comment on the...
No, I haven't opposed. I'm in favor.
In favor. Your hands were just a little slower than mine. Okay, so we're all in favor and that carries. Thank you. All right, you know the word I love. Declarations of pecuniary conflict of interest and general nature thereof. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest?
No.
And I will get that word right at some point. All right, receipt of the minutes. So again, in your package, the Mayor's Golf Classic Funds Committee meeting minutes of June 4th, 2025. May I have a motion to receive the meeting minutes of June 4th, 2025? All right, moved by Manuel. I'll give him that one. And any questions or comments on the minutes? If not, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Did we have a seconder?
Oh, sorry. Did we have a seconder? Yeah, Rob. I gave it to Manuel and then Rob. Sorry. Thank you. All in favor? Okay. And that carries. Thank you. Delegations. We have no delegations. Okay. So we do have matters. We have quite a few matters for discussion. Each matter is dealt with separately. We'll request a motion to put the item on the floor for discussion and then ask for confirmation on the committee's direction before calling the vote. So if you want to go into your package and find the All Kids Can Play Sport Aurora.
And Madam Chair, we have Lori on for Sport Aurora to speak to the application if necessary.
I see Lori. Hello, Lori.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to
Good.
see you today.
Morning.
So Lori,
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So this is the committee, and we all have received your application. So we've read through that. And first I'm going to put a move or a seconder, put the item on the floor. So moved by Rob and seconded by Manuel. Thank you. So the application from Sports Aurora regarding All Kids Can Play program has now been received. And the grant and the committee, Lori, will either grant the funding request, deny the funding request, or defer consideration of the funding request to future meeting. So we have Lori of Sports Aurora with us. Do you have any questions or comments? And Lori, you can definitely do just an overview of your application first, and then we'll go to questions and comments.
Okay, you want me to do the overview now?
Yes, please.
All right. As executive director, it's all the applications. They come to me completely confidential. This All Kids Can Play program is almost 20 years old. And it's a fund that helps relieve the financial barriers to families who are seeking registration for their children in community sport. It runs much like Canadian Tire Jumpstart. Way back when, we used to be a chapter of Canadian Tire Jumpstart, so we worked tandemly to help fund families. And then when they changed their funding criteria structure, because we weren't a municipality or we didn't meet the criteria of being a chapter anymore. We continued doing what we do for the community. And I'm going to tell you that this year I have noticed, it's just me that runs the program with the support of the chair. We have noticed the most increase in funding this year than other previous years.
The most increase in funding requests.
Application requests.
Mhm.
So the All Kids Can Play program is open to Aurora residents and anyone seeking Aurora.
Sorry, Lori, you cut out there.
Oh,
You
sorry.
cut out. Could you go back?
To the part where
you were making reference to the applicants?
Yes, okay. So the applicants to this year was the most applicants we've seen to date. We've had almost 50 applicants to date in the last 6 months, which is fast, seeing that our year end is not here yet. This is the most we've seen this year, and applications will come to me completely confidential. And I am the one who funds families in financial need for their children to applying for development programs. This is not it doesn't fund rep. It funds children coming in at the grassroots level in Aurora community sport. Yeah.
So all 50 are from Aurora, Lori?
Yes. They have been, yes, but we do accept applications because of some of our local sport organization or regional programs. They do, they're not just Aurora residents, they do accept regional, like they're a regional program. So, I mean, they cover Aurora, Newmarket, Richmond Hill. So it's surrounding, like Storm Volley. I'm going to use Storm Volleyball as an example. I always use them as an example. There's not a volleyball, Storm is a regional program. So most 95% of the applications are from Aurora. If they're not, they're applying for one of our Aurora community sport programs here.
Yeah, understood. Thank you. And the maximum that you fund per child is 300.
Correct.
So $5,000 will give you at least 10 to 12
Correct.
potential applicants. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Any further questions for Lori?
My question. So, okay, this funding program is all focused on the sports, or is there any other program related? For example, the arts, painting, dancing, or are they focused on sports only?
Right now, it always has been local sport.
Local sport, okay.
Yeah.
Lori, I have one question about a sentence in your write-up. It said, due to costs, there have been no campaign of awareness in Aurora to inform people that help is available, and therefore people just don't know about the possibility of the subsidy. Can you explain that?
Can you read that to me again?
It's one of the points. It said, due to cost, there's been no campaign of awareness in Aurora to inform people that help is available, and therefore people just don't know the possibility of the subsidy.
Yeah.
What are your sort of awareness campaigns?
Okay, so I'm going to separate it because 100% of any funding donations that come to the All Kids Can Play program go to the All Kids Can Play program. It goes to all all applications. Our outreach program will come from Sport Aurora. It comes from Sport Aurora would initiate all outreach campaigns. I find that more money has been and should be spent on the outreach to inform to inform parents that such a subsidy program is available to them. So we found this year that there's been a little bit more money coming out of the Sport Aurora pot to meet the demands of an outreach program, to inform parents. We do the best we can to inform parents. It's a word of mouth, a lot of word of mouth. We have a lot of returning parents. So, you know, continual work needs to be done to help not only engage parents, but to inform parents that there is such a subsidy program out there for them. And that is, you know, besides the outreach, that's a priority of ours, is to make sure that the community knows about this program.
Okay.
But I would assume the sports groups that you work with know about the program, therefore they're
100%.
referring people to you, right? So that if a parent speaks to a sports organizer about needing a subsidy, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. I'm in full communication with the organization so that they're kept in the loop. They're a part of my communications. So yes, you're correct, Angela. And I'm glad you brought that up, Rob, because outreach is an important aspect to any program.
Sure.
But a lot of focus is on the All Kids Can Play program.
Thank you. If there's not, do you have another question, Rob?
Nope, all good.
Oh, okay. If there's not then any other fervent comments, Manuel or Ping, we'll now take it for a vote. So this is for a $5,000 application, Sport Aurora, All Kids Can Play program. So I'm going to start with all in favor to grant the funding request. We'll start with that one. All in favor? Anyone oppose? So that carries, Lori. So you will hear back from the staff at Aurora around your funding, and congratulations and all the
Thank
best.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you
that.
for meeting me this morning. I appreciate that. I'm just getting over a really bad cold, so this is good news. I've been very sick, so have a good
Take
morning,
care.
everyone. Thank you very, very
Bye.
much.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So we have Pat on the line. I see you.
Yes, Pat's just come in.
Thank you. I'll wait till I see him. Or her. Hey, we got Pat and we have.
Hello, this is Julian.
Hi, Julian. So this is the committee. So I'm just going to tell you the parameters of what we do here. So in the application for Hockey Ends Hunger program, and what will happen is we're going to ask you in a couple seconds to do an overview of your request, at which time we will then ask some questions, comments, and the committee would decide on moving forward with granting the request, denying the request, or deferring the consideration for a future meeting. So with that said, Pat and Julian, if you could just do an overview of what you're requesting, and you're requesting, is it $2,000? Sorry.
Yes, 2,000.
Okay. Thank you. So go ahead.
Yeah, so an overview of Hockey Ends Hunger. We started this about just over 2 years ago. Just a small gathering of Aurora Newmarket residents. We'd come play a local hockey game and raise monetary funds and food donations for the food pantry. Now, we expanded this just last year, where about 24 of the players, all from Aurora Newmarket, all came in. We gathered funds and then went to an after party as well at a local business, where we were able to raise just over $2,000, 557 pounds for the Aurora Food Pantry. And now we're looking to expand that even more.
Okay. Any questions for Julian and Pat?
Good morning. Where do you see the $2,000 going towards in terms of a budget or?
Yeah, so a couple of our costs, so obviously the last 2 years that we've been running this, we've just run everything out of pocket just to get this thing, moving a little bit. Our costs come from $500 for the ice time, and that's obviously ice in Aurora. And then our main generator of monetary funds comes from, we do a raffle at the event after the hockey game. And so all of the raffle prizes come from out of pocket. So we're raffling off things like Toronto Maple Leafs tickets. We had some, Bose speakers over some of the other prizes, hockey sticks, and the other prizes that were, just prizes that people would be enticed, particularly people who are involved in hockey. And so all the costs have come out of pocket. That's our main monetary generator, is selling raffle tickets. The more raffle tickets that we send, or I should say, the more prizes that we have, the more people are interested in buying the raffle tickets, and awareness spreads. So there's only so much, obviously, that we can take out of pocket to cover the ice costs, which is $500, and then however much we decide to spend on prizes for the raffles. So receiving some of the funds would help us cover ice costs, but particularly the raffle prizes, because that's the main generator of pulling people into the charity. We noticed last year we had a couple nice prizes last year, with particularly Leafs tickets, and again, other hockey related prizes that really pulled people in, even people that we didn't even know, that heard, oh, there's Leafs tickets to win, or there's other prizes to win. They actually attended the event, or even through third parties would send people money to send our way in order to get raffle tickets. And the more prize we have, the more we can grow it. The idea eventually is to grow it into perhaps 2 games, which means more people are attending. When people are attending the game and the event, they're bringing food donations, and obviously they're donating more because they want to win the prizes. So, naturally you could think, okay, why not just send money towards the pantry itself, right? Our idea here is that there's more of a monetary prize to, be made by selling raffle tickets than to just send the $2,000 to the food pantry. We feel like we can make more money. I mean, last year we made $2,200. Again, out of pocket with our own expenses. So if we have more money to work with, more prizes to work with, possibly a second game in the future, we can bring in more people, and we can actually grow more money for the Aurora Food Pantry. So that's where we're hoping to allocate the funds.
And how do you promote this?
So we have a social media page. We're currently in the middle of building a website as well. Again, all of the players who are involved in the game are Newmarket Aurora residents. So there's a lot of local people. There's even local businesses. Some of the players have their own local businesses. So through word of mouth, we print posters. We're trying to visit some local businesses and see if we can leave our cards and our posters at those local businesses to create awareness. And then again, just a decent little social media following that we have, being interconnected with quite a few Aurora Newmarket residents on our Instagram. We're linking our Instagram to a Facebook page as well. That way we can just kind of have word of mouth out through social media. We've posted reels on Instagram, some of which have gotten, well over 1,000, 2,000 views. And so it spreads, again, particularly when we advertise the fact that there's, Leaf tickets or other prizes to be won. People are enticed to get involved in the charity. And so our promotion went quite well last year. We went from, I guess the first year would have been perhaps, 20 people involved, to last year at the banquet itself, we had somewhere between 80 and 100 people who actually attended the banquet. We had 24 players in the game, about 35 spectators at the game. And so it grew quite a bit over just 1 year. And we think that we can grow it quite a bit more going into this year and beyond.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking, I wasn't aware of it. I'm a Aurora hockey player, and I'd like to attend. So, but I didn't know anything. Didn't know anything about it. So
yeah, we're just getting it off the ground. Again, the idea in the future is that we can run multiple games. We're running 1 game right now because that's what we can kind of afford to do. But the idea would be, hopefully we can expand it and have multiple games. And obviously with more growth, we can raise more for the pantry and do a better job all around.
You might want to contact the New York Old Timers Hockey League. There's a ton of hockey players, so maybe you have already.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for Pat and Julian? Okay, so we'll take it to a vote. So basically, as I mentioned, we're going to start with the vote for granting the funding request. So is all in favor for granting the $2,000 request for this purpose? Anybody opposed? Oh. Manuel, thank you. So we had 1 opposed, so that carries. So you'll hear back from the team at Aurora, and they'll follow up with you regarding the money. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing in your experience. I would suggest you also connect with Aurora Sports, or Sports Aurora, sorry. They may have some players for you as well.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll just let you guys go and then we'll move on. Perfect. Okay. And we have
Oh, hi,
your
good
son
morning.
here. Hello,
Good morning.
welcome. Okay, so just give me a second here to make sure I have my right. All right, here we go. So our next application is from One Canada Multicultural Alliance regarding funding for the Lunar New Year celebration. So may I have a mover or a seconder to put the item on the floor? Mover. Whose hand do I see first? Rob. And then I see Manuel, you'll be the seconder. Thank you. So, sorry, your first name is?
So my name is Gina Chai. I'm the
Gina.
program manager from One Canada Multicultural Alliance.
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you in a couple minutes just to give an overview of your application. We all have a copy, so thank you very much. We will then provide direction as a committee to either grant the funding request, deny the funding request, or defer the consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. So if you don't mind, can you just give an overview of the request?
Yes. So our organization is called One Canada Multicultural Alliance. So we're located in Aurora. We are most likely Asian leaders communities. So for our vision, for our organizations, we're helping to celebrate a vibrant and inclusive and unique cultures in Aurora. So we are helping people. So we gather people from different backgrounds and to celebrate their cultural heritage in Aurora. So for the last 1 year, we have been gathered so many local events, and we connect different community leaders from different backgrounds and having performance, having shows to celebrate cultural heritage in some place in Aurora Town Square, and yeah. So now and I see we have some funding program for the golf community funds. So we want to celebrate the first ever Chinese New Year in Aurora because we feel the Asian community population is growing, and we want to have set up first and ever celebration New Year in 2026. So that's the plan. We're applying for this funding.
Right. Thank you. So you're asking for $5,000, I see here, for the venue rental, performer honorariums, refreshments, and coordinating the volunteers, etc. Any questions or comments?
Yes. Yeah, so so I think for this event, we're trying to attract and as much as people we can from the town. So we also have some funding from ourselves, which is very funded by Government of Canada. If we have any defense, we can cover from our expense. But we're looking to celebrate and bring, for example, the lion dancing, the face changing, and some heritage performance. And I'm also interested in bring some vendors as well to have, and also it's free for public. Everyone can join. So yeah, so I think it's gonna be phenomenal. And we have done so many events in the last couple of years, and we have lots of experience in our team and our group. So it's gonna be phenomenal.
Great, thank you. That sounds great. So comments from the team here. Any questions for Jim? Ping?
Yes. So the celebration. So first, I want to ask, when is going to the Lunar New Year celebration is going to be held? Where it is, and how is it organized? You said that you are try to attract people from different backgrounds. So how are you going to do it?
Yeah. So the events we're gonna do at Aurora Town Square. So we're gonna book for the performance hall and also the break hall. So and also the dressing room and changing room all gonna be all the venue we're gonna go to Aurora Town Square. And we had celebration. We had we had this event in March. We actually very success. So we got like lots of town city councilors and Mayor Tom coming in as well, and also some local leaders from ABC Black community and some Indian communities. So the promotion channel, there's gonna be 3 steps. We're gonna promote on Instagram, and then we're gonna post on the WeChat, and then we have like a group with like 800 people. So so it's gonna be so people mouth to mouth as well. It's also can be be well known. So it's gonna be attract lots of people.
Okay, thank you.
I love that you're having it at the town square and supporting that,
That's phenomenal. And
that place as well.
Yeah, that's gonna be we had lots of events in there. So we had karaoke, we had like a celebration in March, and that's stunning. It's iconic buildings in the town.
It's beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you. Any further questions, Rob?
Great. It sounds wonderful. Do you have a budget for this, and do you see where the $5,000 is going to be allocated?
Yeah, so I think the performance town hall, I'm going to rent at least like 4 hours. So, and also dressing room and the hallway and break hall. So this gonna be cost at least like $1,200 probably. And the performers. So we may not affordable to hire a competition team. So we probably hire some like local performers and some like some, for example, from dancing school as well. So the people from local academic school, or so they got a chance to practice, and they got a chance to showcase their culture, to build their confidence as well, right? So this is gonna be cost at least around like $1,200 as well. So we're gonna spend another like maybe $1,500 to purchase the food or refreshment or coffee as well, because everything's free for public, and we just wanna be make sure everyone coming here with happiness and joyness. Another like maybe $1,500 is gonna be set up for like our coordinators, some expense for our volunteers as well, and we also do some decorations as well. So $500 obviously is not enough, but we have some budget out from our organizations can be cover some like sufficient like deficient.
Great. And are you going to be charging people any kind of an admission, or?
No. So our event's gonna be free for public, and then we can looking for our sponsorship as well if we are success. So we're gonna have some vendors as well, and then we are trying to it's also great chance to promote local Aurora business as well, because like it's hard to gather 400 to 500 people together at the same time. So I think it's also promote local is also our mission for this event.
Love it.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so if there isn't any other questions or comments, I'll move on to the vote. So again, this is for the application from One Canada Multicultural Alliance regarding funding for the Lunar New Year celebration. And we'll start with the granting the funding request. We'll take a vote on that. So is it all in favor for us to grant the funding request? Okay, anybody opposed? All right, one opposed. All right, so thank you so much. You will hear from the town in regards to the fundings for $5,000, and they'll connect with you around that check. So thank you so much for the very clear messaging here on your proposal. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the team.
Okay, so we'll let you go, and then we're just going to move on to the next. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have Alex from Shadow Path Theater.
Yes. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Good morning.
Just
Good morning.
good morning. Nice to see you, Alex. So I'll just explain what we're going to do before I get into all the preamble. Basically, we're going to have a chance to hear from you in a couple minutes, just as an overview of your application, which we have in front of us. And then we will make a decision after some questions or comments that may come from the committee members around granting the request, denying the funding request, or deferring consideration to a future meeting. So that's the process. So committee, we have an application from Shadow Path Theatre Productions regarding funding for apprenticeship program. And can I have a mover and a seconder? So moved, so we can put the discussion on, sorry, this item on the floor for discussion. Mover. Rob. Seconder, Ping. I see that hand. Yay. So, Alex, could you just do a brief overview of your application?
Yes, I can. Okay, so this is for Shadow Path Theater. I'm the artistic director of Shadow Path, and we have an apprenticeship program for youth. We've been running this program since 2016 with some off years during COVID. And we wanted to focus this program specifically in Aurora and focus it on the intersection of theater between other sectors like technology and activating space through these three realms of storytelling, space activation, and technology. And we thought working with youth would be a really good way to go about doing that. And we're interested in looking at underused or misused spaces. They could be indoors or outdoors. They could be abandoned buildings or underused storefront spaces along the downtown core. They could be more industrial spaces or municipality-owned spaces. We're not really sure. We're kind of open to explore and investigate what would work best for this project. But we also want to be very tech savvy about it. You didn't tell me how long I had, by the way. So if I'm going on too long.
We have another minute or so. That's fine.
Okay. So we wanted to sort of push our boundaries of what we have been doing as a theater company when it comes to technology and even AI and digital mediums. So we thought working with youth is a really good way to also integrate those aspects into a theater company that's been around for 20 something years. And I worked on a project a while ago with projection mapping, where you kind of take, like, imagine sort of like a blank space. So it could be like the side of a building, let's say, and you project images that kind of create a different world of the story that you're telling. So I don't know, it could be however we design the projections. It could be just the building revitalized. It could be something really more artistic or creative. And then we create a scene with performers and to bring the projection of the space, kind of bring that to life. And it's open to the community. So it's free of charge. It's kind of an innovative way to get the community to engage with arts and culture, but also to revitalize underused space and work with youth.
Thank you, Alex. You did it. You got it under there.
Woo!
So I'm sure we're gonna have some comments and questions to just understand a little bit more. My first question, though, Alex, if I can step in first, is your organization, my assumption is region-wide, so it's not all your participants come from Aurora. You mentioned 50% of your organization clients reside in Aurora, but this particular project, you're going to earmark to Auroran youth. So how are you going to communicate this program out to the youth of Aurora?
Well, social media, number one. That's always a good way to connect to the youth. We have a database that we will send our notices to, and actually through community partners. So through libraries, we have some community partnerships already in Aurora, like the Historic Hillary House, places that we've already worked with before, the Royal Rose Art Gallery, some cafe spaces, as well as high schools and other types of drama programs in Aurora. And since we're really only looking for 2 apprentices, it's, it's not like we're looking for 20 apprentices. So I think 2 is kind of a good way to, I don't think it will be very hard to find. We've been recruiting apprentices for almost 10 years now. So we have regular channels that we use. There's even online pages that would support like working in arts and culture, like the Toronto Alliance for Performing Arts, which is all across the GTA, and other types of resources like that.
Okay. Questions?
Now, Alex, when you identify a location and you've got your theme and all the apprentices, and is it sort of a one-off? You would go to that one spot, and would it be an evening, a couple of hours, or I don't know. I don't know how it works. So
yeah. It's a good question. And because we haven't done anything quite like this before, like, yes, we've done the apprenticeship building and we have activated everyday space, but we haven't done it quite like this through projection mapping and technology. It could work either way. So it could be over a weekend, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for example, or usually what ShadowPath does a lot is we tour, like we kind of have a roaming traveling kind of project. So let's say we identify 3 spaces in Aurora that we want to activate. We would maybe do one on the Friday night, the second one on the Saturday night, and the third one on the Sunday night. Or we could do it over a month. So we could spread it out and make it a little bit like longer. We could also coincide it with a special day. Like if there's a theme in our project that would connect to, let's say, International Women's Day, for example, we could kind of do something more thematic, or for culture days. So we kind of, but yes, you're right. The first step is to identify the spaces, and maybe we're not going to find 3 spaces in Aurora. I think we will, but it depends on the spaces we identify and if they are usable, if we are permitted to activate them, so to speak. So it does, the first step is to figure out where in Aurora.
Any other comments? Again, you should have the application in front of you. So if you see anything that steps out, again, I appreciate that you put in here the pictures of the events that you've had in Aurora. So that helps us see that relationship. So thank you. All right. If there is no more questions or comments, the request is for $5,000. And generally what we do, Alex, is we start with the committee will provide direction on granting the funding request. So if there's no other questions or comments from the committee, I'll call for the vote. All in favor for granting the funding request to ShadowPath? Anybody? Oh, you want a question? You have a question?
Can I make a motion to defer it in the hopes that Alex can identify Aurora locations? Could I do that?
Well, I'm not going to identify Aurora locations until we get the funding, because that's a lot of work for me to set up meetings and scout locations and then go through permissions. So yeah.
Mike, you were coming on for a second there. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to weigh in on the procedural matter there, but if like you could do that, like as a committee, you could do that, but obviously it doesn't work for the applicant.
Okay. So I'll go back to so you're also, sorry, I do have a question, because I see that in your budget, you have a 10,000 TD grant confirmed. So you do have the 10,000. So you're looking for 5,000 from us and another 5,000. So they already have the 10,000 of the 20,000 that they're requesting. Okay. So back to the original request is the committee provide direction on granting the funding request. All in favor? Anybody? Okay, and opposed? So I assume we have 2 opposed. Ping, what's your?
Defer. C.
Sorry?
C, choice C, defer.
Defer?
Are you a yay or a nay, Ping?
I haven't gone to deferred yet. So, okay, then I'll ask for that. Anybody wish to defer? Okay, so ping. So here's what we could do, Mike, you can suggest otherwise, is maybe we can have a discussion at the end of the meeting. Is that fair, Mike?
I wouldn't suggest that. Like we couldn't go into closed session or anything like that, so we'll be discussing it on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, any discussion should take place right now, in my opinion.
Okay, so I guess the question I would have then is, and again, I'm not pushing either three options, I'm just wanting to understand, is there questions that we haven't had answer in regards to the opposed or defer concern, other than the space issues that Rob brought up?
I think maybe just from my standpoint, I just maybe personal idea, a conception. I don't have enough understanding of the program, the Shadow Path, this program. So
Okay, so we can maybe get those questions answered. And Manuel, is there anything that you want to share?
I just, I'm looking at the budget and I'm not convinced with the budget. It says 3 Aurorans, but all the stipend goes to all the other expenses goes into purchase of, I think, if I'm not mistaken here, you got purchases made, right? But it's a project. So if the project isn't successful, what happens, right? So if we could, I would give it 1,000 per phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, because if you give them if we approve it up front and the project is a bust, get them to show for it. We have a responsibility to make sure there's something comes out of the funding we're giving.
So
it's a project, as Alex.
I'm not gonna, I can't, yeah, so I can't answer that. So Alex, have you done this project before in other communities, and or is this a pilot? I guess that's maybe what we're wanting to know. And I mean, I appreciate pilots can work and pilots don't work, and that's part of what a pilot is, right? Is to understand. So what do you see as the long-term outcome?
So Shadowpath has been producing theater since 2002. So we have a lot of track record of success, I will say. We have not done projection mapping before. We have activated everyday spaces probably since 2005, I would say. Everyday spaces are things like parks, parking lots, churches, libraries, wineries, restaurants, car dealerships, like any kind of everyday space. We're not a theater company that goes into theaters. We go and activate public space. Lately, we have been interested in the cross-section of theater with other industries, such as the environment. We're currently working on a pilot project with the Conservation Authority to go into the forest and do sort of a historical recreation of some of the stories that happened, and to tour a group through an audioscape. So we're creating audio clips, and this is also a little bit new for us. Like, yes, we have done projects in the woods before in outdoor theater, but we haven't quite used audio soundscapes in this way. So we're trying to just push our boundaries and be ambitious and see what we can do and how we can integrate technology, really. Technology is a really huge buzzword right now. And I personally, as an artist, have worked with projection mapping before with Opera Panama back in 2015, where they went to an abandoned outdoor structure and did a production of Macbeth for the public. And they just transformed the whole space using different projections. So you didn't have to build a set. So it's actually I don't know if it's cheaper, because yes, you're right, you do have to pay for some equipment like projectors, but you're not building a set. You're not constructing set pieces, because you're projecting what the world is and what the set is. So in some ways, it's really just swapping out traditional theater techniques for the world we're living in today, which is very tech driven. That's what I'll say. But yes, it will be a learning curve for us, for sure. In that way, it is a pilot, but we're also going to be bringing on somebody that can help us to understand, like, we know how to use a projector, but understand the projection mapping, specific aspects on how to design. Like, we would be working with like a professional to learn from that person how to specifically do that. So in a way, it is skill developing for us as well, because it's new. It's a new thing.
One general question is, our guidelines is, how do you demonstrate that this is beneficial to the residents of Aurora.
Right. So that's where the community space comes in. So I think by identifying underused space that the community is not aware of or not utilizing productively, and creating free programming that is based in arts and culture, that is also really nuanced and specific to the town of Aurora, where maybe they didn't know that, historical, if we're going to weave in historical narratives into the project. So it's an awareness building. It's a creative use of underutilized space. It's engaging youth apprentices directly from the community.
Well, and I might add, in terms of the effect that it does, the testimonials from the apprentices are really excellent. So I'm all in favor of helping the youth, and also you've got 10 or 12 awards and recognition. So obviously it's impactful what you do.
Well, because we're trying to push the boundaries of what we can do. It is kind of a hard concept to explain, and we don't have support materials to show what it could look like, because we haven't quite done something like this before. So it's exciting for us to, and I think Aurora presents like a really interesting playground to try to figure out how to do it. But do I know the spaces right now? No, I don't know where the spaces are. But that's where I would have to reach out to community partners and people within Aurora to figure out where we could start in that regard. It would take some meetings. It would take, me going out and my team going and walking through spaces. But that's how we made partnerships with Hillary House, with Royal Rose. We've looked at Shepherd's Bush quite a lot for some outdoor activations. So we were in Town Park last year. We are working with senior centers in Aurora, which is, I guess, all reflected in the support material in the application.
Yep. So I think what's helped me, Alex, and committee is, honestly, on paper, I really didn't get it either, what you were presenting, because it's just so new for me. I mean, I picture theater in a space, in a closed area, right, sitting on a chair. But so this has helped me have a better understanding. I also appreciate the fact that you have received a TD grant, which I know as a fundraiser can be difficult to get certain organizations on board with projects. So you've secured that. So there must be some understanding of the benefits. Have you received TD grants in the past, or is this been, so they know your organization. Again, so I'm just putting that out from, again, personal fundraising background, that it can be difficult to get other people on board. So Alex has now given a little bit more clarity to what she wants. And so I'm going to put the vote out again. So we'll start.
This question is, why can't we use the $10,000 that you already have to start the program, and then come back with your progress and say, okay, Aurora Committee, here's our progress. So here's why we want the $5,000. Like, you have the $10,000 right now, so go use it, right? And then as you progress and you need more, come back.
It's just not.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah. It's just not enough. Like, it's just with like the cost of things today, it's not enough for us to run an apprenticeship program to activate underused space, to work with technology. And like, we're a professional theater company. We're paying all artists, which is something innovative in York Region as well. We're the only theater company that's paying artists industry standards, not honorariums. So that's why our budgets, which are actually very modest still, to do what we're saying we're going to do for $20,000 is just like that's us being very conservative with our budgeting. So 10,000, no, it's not possible. We could run the apprenticeship program again, but which is what we'll be doing, but we would like our apprentices to work on this kind of project.
So would it help if we were to then just vote on deferring the request to a future meeting, which we'll probably have in the next month or so anyway? Is that something fair? And people can take some time to maybe do a little review again. If you have any questions for Alex, we can send those off to her.
Agree.
Because I don't know if I'm prepared personally to let it just drop without maybe a little bit more thoughtful discussion. But that's, again,
I'm
I'm
okay
just
with
thinking.
deferring.
Are you okay with that, Manuel?
I'm
Okay.
okay with deferring.
Okay, so why don't we do that, is that we would just, okay, we'll just take it to a vote to again, the Shadow Path Theater Productions funding for apprenticeship program, defer consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. All in favor? Opposed. Okay, so we're, Rob, is that opposed?
Yes.
Okay, so one opposed. So we'll defer Alex to we'll have a meeting and we'll be back to you on that one. So thank you. Thank you for your time.
Alex,
Yes.
if you're going to be tromping around Aurora in Shepherd's Bush and hither, thither, and yon, I know a very good person who could help you with that. So
Okay, all right, great.
we'll touch base offline.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so our next is going to be victim services. Well, wait, is anybody coming in, Mike, from Victim Services? Oh, there
Yeah,
we
just
go.
on their way, and Jillian and
Jillian.
I might not be.
I see Jillian and I
Tony.
see somebody else. And Brian, sorry?
Tony, Jillian and Tony.
Tony, thank you.
Yes, Tony's here from Victim Services. Thank
Hi,
you.
Tony. Hey, Jillian.
Good morning.
Okay, so Jillian, welcome, and Tony. So this is the committee, Mayor's Golf Classic Funds Committee. So we have an application from Victor Services, York Region, funding for Project Angel. I'm going to ask first for a mover and seconder to put the item on the floor for discussion. Who would move that? Ping, and seconder Robert. Thank you. So Tony and Jillian, what we'll do is we're going to ask you to just do a brief overview of the application that we have in front of us, just to fill in maybe any gaps or things that you want to make sure that we understand. And then we will move into a vote where we either grant the funding request, deny the funding request, or defer consideration for a funding request to a future meeting. Okay, so Tony or Jillian, go ahead, whoever wants to give an overview. And before I forget, I do see that you comment that the organization's clients resides in Aurora is about 30%, but you are York region wide. So I understand that as well. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jillian. You're on mute there.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you so much for giving us this time. We are grateful for the opportunity. As you may know, Victim Services of York Region works in partnership with York Regional Police, the OPP, and York Fire Services to provide 24-hour crisis intervention support to persons victimized by crime or tragic circumstance. So we attend a home, a hospital, a crime scene, or police station to assist on cases such as domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, armed robbery, anything basically, sudden death, suicide, homicide, anything that happens that the police are responding to, we are the first responders with them as well. Project Angel is a project that we came up with as hopes of a means to prevent further violence within our community. So it is a program. It stands for the Automated Notification GPS Emergency Locator System. So unlike a senior's alarm, when you press it, it goes to an alarm company. These alarms are fairly expensive because when you depress it, it actually goes to Northern 911. And in the 911 operator screen, on half the screen will have all the details of the perpetrator, the victim, how many children would be in the home, etc. And on the other half of the screen will be a GPS tracker. So when the alarm gets depressed, it has voice automated as well as the tracking system. So we have 10 of these alarms in all of York Region. They're too expensive for us to have more, plus the time and resources to provide support to them. And basically, there are 10 cases where there are homicides waiting to occur. That the police have identified that the accused, it doesn't matter how many times we put them in custody, it doesn't how many orders we have, this individual is quite determined to cause harm to the individual who has the alarm. Recently we had one actually in Aurora where the woman did depress the accused, she relocated to Aurora and depressed the alarm because the accused found her, and the police were able to respond because it's a priority call. Normally when an alarm goes off, it goes in a queue. They know that their homicide's waiting to happen, to press the alarm. The police got there just as his arms were on her in time to save her life. So that's the program. It is not funded. It is a fundraised program that we offer. We don't have any government funding for this program. We use our dollars for each individual gets a crisis counselor assigned to them so that they get the longer term care. And during this period, what we try to do is try to enhance their safety. So another example, way back when we had Chief Labarge, we had a case where the person worked for the accused worked for the Ministry of Transportation. So every time she relocated, she had to put it on her license, and he found her again and again and again. So we actually had to apply for an address suppression so that he couldn't even find it on the MTO order. We've had a case where the prison psychologists have written to the police and said, this person is determined to end the victim's life. So breaching confidentiality for this is what the psychiatrist said. So our cases are the worst cases in York Region, and there's only 10. The alarms are a little over 800 for each of them, a little over 800 for all 10 alarms. The bill that I get every month is over 800 a month. So it rounds up to about $10,000 just for the alarm, the alarms themselves, just so a person can hold an alarm.
Thank you. Thank you, Jillian. Wow. Okay. Do we have questions or comments for Jillian and Tony? And thank you, Manuel.
Jillian, you mentioned the alarm. If I am an individual with the alarm, how long do I have the alarm for? Is it for life?
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, they get it automatically for 6 months, and then it goes up for renewal again after the 6-month period. So the hope is during that 6-month period, we know that the perpetrator is going to come back, and it's basically to allow the police enough time to intervene before something tragic occurs and get him back in custody. So 6 months, and if nothing's happened in 6 months, then we continue on. And we also talk about safety planning with her and with everyone in her circle as well. They're CETEP officers. Tony could probably speak a little bit more to what, I don't know what that acronym stands for, but those officers go out and they do environmental safety for the individual to talk about, should this tree be cut down because someone can hide behind that. So those sort of safety features, we make sure that we're in with the schools for the kids because we know that there's children at risk. We have one case where we have a child who's got the alarm. We know that the accused wants to kill the spouse and the 15-year-old, and the 15-year-old plays sports. So he can't go to sport. If he doesn't have the alarm, he doesn't get to go to any sports, basically. So we are talking about the highest risk cases.
Yeah, and to Jillian's point, the police will do a lot of safety planning with the victims. CEPTED stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. And so they'll look at some of the, the low-hanging fruit to try and make it safer. When Jillian talks about these cases, the last fiscal year, Victim Services served over, almost 19,000 clients, and 76% of those involve domestic violence, 9% of those involve 4% involve human trafficking and sexual assault. So a high number of these victims are subject to these accused and these suspects. And unfortunately, we hear in the news all the time, a lot of these individuals are making bail and they're getting out. And although there's conditions imposed on them, they will breach the conditions. The good news is when they do breach these conditions, so on the case Jillian talks about, when they hit the alarm, the police respond, he'll get now arrested. He's breached his conditions, so it's harder for him to get out, and so it keeps the victim that much safer because now he's in court waiting trial. So it's there's a lot of moving parts when you're dealing with domestic violence, sexual assault type cases, and as Jillian outlines, this Project Angel is a great tool for our victims.
And in some cases, we try to completely relocate. I mean, we try to see if we can do some witness relocation. So there's one case, for example, where it's a Hells Angel. So she's at risk, even though the accused is in jail, she's perpetually at risk because other members of Hells Angels are harassing and causing harm to her and her son. So right now we're just waiting for all the processes for witness relocation to go through for her and her son to like change their identity, change their names, change everything, and move completely out of the jurisdiction. So.
Wow.
I got two more questions, Angela. Two follow-up
Manuel.
questions. So you mentioned you haven't applied for any government fundings, or have you applied for government fundings and been denied?
So far, we haven't received government funding for this. It's our focus with the government funding has been on the human resource side because the funding required to support the individuals is quite heavy. So, but we haven't had a government taker as yet. There's just been other programs.
Of the 10 alarms that you
Sorry, say that again.
Of the 10 alarms you currently have, how many are assigned to Aurora residents?
As soon as I said I knew that Aurora case, you're going to ask that. I'm not 100% sure. I would, if I were to make an average guess, I would assume that they're usually fairly evenly split. So I would say 3 of the 10 is probably allotted to Aurora. If I were to guess, but I couldn't, that's just a guess. I know that they're evenly split around York Region for sure.
So if we were to able to fund this money, so 5,000, that would give you roughly 5 devices, give or take a few dollars. Would you be able to identify 5 individuals in Aurora that you would be able to then earmark those devices to? And again, I appreciate there's various probably levels of priority given, but I'm just asking that as a question. Is it possible to identify a minimum, 3 to 5 people?
Would I be tied to that? Because otherwise I'd be saying no to somebody else in another area.
And again, I appreciate the priority of that. So I'm just asking the question based on.
Aurora has the second stage housing for the shelter. So Aurora's numbers are decent. Like we already know that because of that location alone. So I don't know if I could guarantee 5. Like at any given point in time, it could be 5, it could be 3, it could be, it really, it's a moving number.
It could be 9.
It could be, yeah. And it all comes down to my assumption is you've got this device that's used for 6 months by one person, and the individual, whatever the situation changes, it's moved on. So these devices are going to be moving around regardless.
Yeah.
So again, I think we need to be clear on that.
I know for sure that you have one because the alarm went off. That does. Oh, and just because the alarm went off, that's how I know that it was in Aurora. I don't really, as the executive director, I don't track who has them. I sort of track the broader strokes of how many do we have, who needs them, what do we do when they're all out and there's somebody else who needs it, like that. Those pieces we sort of struggle with. So, but I know for beyond a doubt, it saved a woman's life very recently who lives in Aurora.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Another
beyond
factor,
a doubt, one right now.
Another factor to consider is that although the device may not be physically with somebody in Aurora, they may have a family member in Aurora, a friend in Aurora, or they may have lived in Aurora, they have moved to Newmarket or East Gwillimbury, but they still have family there. So there's sometimes an indirect connection because unfortunately these individuals become transient in nature because to enhance their safety, right? And so there's that piece as well, right?
Or they could be at a sports arena in Aurora.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. Or they could be shopping in Aurora. Like the alarm's going to work anywhere, wherever they are, right?
Yeah.
But for sure, I can say with 100% certainty, I could get you the exact number later today, but for sure with 100% certainty, you have one that was most recently used that I had to, as soon as it gets activated, I get notified because it becomes higher risk and we want to make sure that there no tragic circumstances occurred. But you do have the second stage housing. So I would guess that you probably have a higher proportion because of that housing.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions or concerns? I guess my only comment, I just feel I have to say this, is coming from the Salvation Army. we're not blind to this reality, and regardless of where the person lives, there is personally a commitment to care for every individual who lives or comes through our organization or through our communities. And you're right, we have second stage housing here in Aurora, and this is just a reality that this could be our community issue. So Project Angel, I think, what a device. Anyway. All right, so our application from Victim Services York Region regarding funding Project Angel. I'll start first with grant the funding request. So it's for $5,000. We take this to vote. If there's no other further comments, all in favor for granting this device? Any opposed?
And Angela, could I just?
Manuel, thank you, Manuel. Yep.
Can I just make a comment?
Robert?
I think in this case, we have to put take our Aurora hats off. And if it's going to save anybody's life anywhere, I'm 100% for it. So
thank you. Okay, so that carries. Thank you very much. Tony and Joanne, you will get a call back from the team there at Aurora. So we appreciate your presentation, and I definitely personally will, I'm assuming organizations like Abuse Hurts, etc., are aware of this device, and if they have any leads on possible funding as well, I'll ask them about that. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you,
you,
everybody, for your time
Take care.
and your support. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Okay, that was I find that hard.
that's
Okay.
pretty scary, let me tell you. Oof.
So are we moving on to the whiskey, wine, and Mr. Menswear? Is that where we're at? And I see Lynette.
That's right.
And there's Mike. Okay, so we got two people there. Lynette, you for some reason you've got two. Oh, you got rid of one. Okay.
Hi, neighbor.
Oh, neighbor, turn on your mic there.
There we go.
Okay, Lynette. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Sorry, I was so worried that we were in the wrong spot.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Well, you're in
Good
the right
morning.
spot. So let
Okay,
me
good.
explain what's going to happen right now. So we do have the application and information beside us. I will be asking for you to share an overview of your request in a couple of minutes. You can do that. And so basically, team, we have an application from Whiskey Wine, Mr. Menswear Committee regarding a funding for the event. May I have a mover or seconder to put the item on the floor for discussion? Mover, thank you, Manuel. Seconder, Robert, thank you. So basically what will happen, Mike and Lynette, is we will ask you to do that overview. Then the committee will will ask questions and comments. And then we are asked as a committee to make a vote, either granting the funding request, denying the funding request, or deferring the consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. So if you don't mind, take a couple minutes and just give us an overview and highlighting areas that you wish us to have a better understanding. Thank you.
Okay, well, I've been part of South Lake Hospital since 2007. I've raised money because I am a two-time cancer survivor. And so it was very important for me to start doing this way back in 2007. It's been a main focus now since 2016. And it's always been basically ticket sales that we raised and whatever comes out of that. So we're just hoping to bring in a little bit more money. The team now has gone from a one-man show to about 8 to 12 people involved in this now. It's an incredible event, how it's expanded. I'll never forget having my first fashion show at my store to raise money for the cancer center at South Lake Hospital. I had 11 ladies come in to sponsor. I brought in firefighters thinking that would bring in a heck of a lot more ladies into the fashion show. We raised $1,300 that one time. Now we reached last year or 2 years ago. We do it every 2 years now. We raised $75,000, completely sold out crowd of 250 people. It was incredible.
And also a big part of the show is that the doctors from South Lake are the models modeling MR Menswear clothing. So really incorporating the doctors into the fundraiser is such an important part, and people come to get to know the doctors, see them on a more personal level. And to date, I think you've raised how much?
Just about close to $145,000.
And as Mike mentioned, he is a 2-time cancer survivor, having cancer the first time, a brain tumor, at the age of 19. And then more recently,
Just in 2017, I was diagnosed once again.
And the community,
not a brain tumor though, it was in the neck. So much better.
And the community really came together for Mike
It's
in
incredible how the
2017.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
A lot of people do know that I've been raising money for the cancer center. They knew that I was a cancer survivor the first time. But this community, unbelievable how it came through just to save my store, because I've been raising money for the cancer center at South Lake Hospital, and they just came through and kept my business open for me while I was battling it the second time.
And Mike's store, if people aren't familiar with it, MR Menswear was in Aurora on Yonge Street, Yonge and Wellington.
Since 2014.
And he's recently moved into Aurora on Industrial Parkway, and Edward is kind of that area right there.
Thank you. So you're asking us to be the committee funds to be a sponsor. Is
Yes.
that what
Very
you're
much
asking? Okay.
so. Very much so.
All right, which is not uncommon. Okay, questions. Do you have anything more to say before I bring it to questions and comments? And then you can, of course, highlight anything at the end as well. So any questions or comments about the event or about the funds, etc.?
I don't have any more. I just hope I can answer the questions correctly.
I hope you can. I'm sure you can. Because you did comment, I appreciate what you said a few minutes ago about the Auroran community coming alongside, not only to support you, Mike, as an individual, but also your business, but also this event. So would you say the majority of people who are really connected to this event are from Aurora?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say at least 90%. Well, again, I'm including Newmarket as well, but a lot, mostly from Aurora.
The core of Mike's business is individuals in Aurora, but he does bring other communities into his store, which I think is great for the economic
betterment of our
yes, of our community, for sure.
And I apologize, when I first said, I said Mr. Menswear instead of MR, so I appreciate I had a name.
Which MR is, of course, Mike Rathke.
Yes, of course.
It's a very nice play on his.
Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, so questions or comments from the committee?
Well, I think it's a wonderful initiative and I support it wholeheartedly.
Thanks so much.
And the Aurora Whiskey Society is a big part of this event.
Oh, yes.
By the way, because they are the whiskey portion of the event. So,
yeah. It's incredible how this community not only comes through for me, but for our own hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I do donate to many other functions as long as it's donating and giving back to the hospital. I've donated many, many times to golf tournaments and other events too.
Yeah.
It is important. It's a terrible thing to go through, and it's money that has to be raised to improve our system.
Any other questions or comments for Lynette or Mike? And then we'll move on to the vote. Okay, so for the application from Whiskey, Wine, and MR Menswear Committee for the funding of the fundraising event, applying for $5,000. So grant the funding request. That's our vote. All in favor? Mike?
Sorry.
Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah. I think I didn't think it was like a specific $5,000 request. I think the committee has the choice to grant one of like $1,500, $2,500.
I see. Well, I'm writing today to apply for 5,000 is what the letter says.
Oh, sorry. Did I miss that?
That's the second paragraph.
Yeah, first sentence of the second paragraph.
Okay, my bad. $5,000 sponsorship.
Mike, that's okay. You know I make mistakes in this, so you're all good.
No, I haven't seen him yet.
Ping. Ping, you have something to say, Ping?
Yes, no, I'm just favor of.
You're
First,
voting now.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
because I did ask for a vote, didn't I? Okay, all in favor for granting the request? Okay,
Oh.
perfect. Okay, so that has gone through. So you will get, Mike, Lynette, you will, the town will be in touch with you about the funding.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Mike,
a question, Manuel
Keep on
has a
the fight,
question.
man. No question, it's a comment. Keep on the fight.
Keep on the fight, amen.
Thank you.
Be
Thank
strong.
you.
Thank you. All right, see you then.
Thanks.
All the best.
Bye.
All right,
Thank you all. Thank you.
welcome. Oh, I think we're done. That was my last turnover of my page.
That's a long,
That was
Long
one
one.
long
Longest
meeting.
meeting
Long
we've
one
ever
today.
had.
My Lord. Okay, here we go.
One question,
Yes, we
one
do need to
question,
talk.
and pardon my ignorance. Who is Jason Garten?
Oh, hi,
Jason
Jason.
Gardner. Jason Gardner is our manager of financial planning at the town. He comes to make sure that we don't give away all the assets of the town, I believe.
Oh, Jason.
Okay. Just a question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jason.
Mike,
Jason's the background of all of our meetings.
Mike, your desk is next, so.
That's right.
And we got some, okay, so, all right, sorry. Informational items, item number 8, we have no informational items. Does anybody have new business? And I think, I do. I don't know if I can put this on. I think maybe we could have a very brief, because I know we've gone over time, a very brief discussion on, so it was only the one that we had to defer, correct?
Yeah.
And then we had a couple
Yeah.
of, where all of us weren't in favor necessarily, and I honor that. I mean, we can't all have the same mindset about why we do money, right, Manuel? And so I really appreciate that.
Yes.
I do appreciate that, and I'm not against that because people have to. So I just be curious, is it primarily a discussion related to the actual, so I guess my question is, there is the issue of the Aurora base, 100%. And then there's always issues related to if we think it's a fit. So of the ones that we didn't have full approval on, I'm just wanting to understand myself some of the thought around that, where I might see something
Okay.
different. So
I'm the only one who had a nay vote in any meetings. I've noticed that. I'm the only one that says nay, right? What I look at is, if there are issues that are too big, but $5,000 can affect, it's a non-issue, right? I'm saying, like this VSY, it's a good initiative, but there are 10 alarms, and I know it saves lives, but if there are these lives, our $5,000 can go somewhere else where it can be more effective. I'm not saying that a life isn't worth $5,000. And so, in my opinion, that VSY program, that Project Angel, that should go to a higher level. That should go to government approval, not for us. That's just my opinion. The funds for Aurora is for the development, as per our guidelines. For I can read verbatim here. It says, to the benefits, to demonstrate benefit to the residents of Aurora. That's where I'm coming from. That's always what I have in the back of my mind. How does it benefit the residents of Aurora? That's why I vote the way I vote, for the residents of Aurora.
and I appreciate that. I think on that particular one, and again, we don't need to get into a discussion. I think from a perspective I have with the victim services is, at the end of the day, even if $5,000 can help 5 people, that's 5 people less that are at risk. And I do 100% agree with you. There's a lot of funding out there that needs to be looked at from a government level, Ontario or federal. But at the same time, I think as my years here in Aurora have shown me, there is some tremendous organizations, like, for example, we just saw Mike and Lynette talk about, a fundraising event that's raised hundreds of thousands, $70,000. It often is these little projects and this little bit of seed money that we can provide that kind of helps overall. So I see it from that perspective more as a, Rob knows his support from the Optimists and other ways that his teams have supported the Salvation Army. Even that $5,000 helps tremendously X number of people. Do I think the government should do more? 100%. When I heard that presentation, I fully agree that there's some kind of disconnect when our provincial government or even regional government is not supporting these individuals. But if we can help 5 people, then that's 5 people. So that's my gut on that one. Anyways, I appreciate Manuel in particular. I do appreciate that you don't always equally, and that's what we're here for, right? We're here for a discussion, and that's important.
Yeah, and I reached out to Mike as well on all this, right? And Mike Duran doesn't say to me, I don't have to explain myself. That was what he said to. But you know what? If you ask, I will. If you ask, I will, because this is, I've accepted this responsibility as a volunteer. I've accepted it with whole heart. And I want to make sure that at the end of my term, if I ever, that people won't say that that guy just did nothing. He just said, yeah.
Yep. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mike, for today's meetings. And let me call for an adjournment. Where's my form?
What do we do with the deferrals then?
I think we do need to put that on to whatever our next meeting is. So whenever Mike has more applications, we'll make sure that's on the agenda.
We have another one that I received yesterday. It was too late to put it on for this one. So probably end of September, and I'm going to reach out to, I just forgot her name.
Alex,
thank you. I'm going to reach out to Alex and just inquire whether there's anything else in the next month that she can think of that'll help you come around on it, or just give you a clearer picture of what they're doing. So I'll also see if there's anything in addition, and I'll make it clear what's additional. If there's anything additional being added to the agenda at the end of September, I'll make that clear.
Thank you. Okay, so adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by @Robert, seconded by Ping. Thank you. All in favor? That carries.